What's up, gente? What's up, Raza? I want to just ask a question today, especially because the weather's so nice and people are out there at, car shows and different, cultural events that are happening. And that the question is, are car shows, is danza, Chicano art, tattoos, the zoot suit, what you call shows that people put on sometimes, is any of that part of the Chicano culture? Any of them? Are they revolutionary? And the short answer, I'm going to be honest with everybody, is no, not in of it, by itself, right? If you create a lowrider, hey, awesome. But revolutionary means change in the context we're talking about. We're talking about, political change, change economically, change, that's going to overthrow racism, white supremacy, that's going to overthrow a fascist, ruler, that's going to, give people equality, well, shouldn't say equality, but maybe a better opportunity in life. Because when you have a revolutionary mindset, in terms of the civil rights movement, in terms of any movement, you're talking about overthrowing power. So is or are lowrider car shows, is Chicano art, is the serape, is anything of that I mentioned revolutionary? The United Farm Workers, brown berets, is what's the difference, right? And the answer is, it could be revolutionary, but in and by itself, it's not. It's a great practice. And for those who don't know what culture is everything from the language, the foods, the religion, the music, the way people dress, all that, even gender roles. Those things are cultural, and people have different cultures, even subcultures. So you might have somebody in a household that grew up listening to oldies and loves lowrider car shows, and attending some of the best Zuzu gatherings. And yet you'll have somebody in the family that might have a skateboard, or they themselves, even if they're a cholo, might have a skateboard, right? But you have somebody who has a skateboard, or who dresses up in the skater gear, or maybe the metal gear, they're misfits, right? Misfit shirts, or maybe they have Tupac, right? Tupac T-shirts. You can have different cultures, within one household. So culture is really just how you express yourself based on your communities, values or practices. And so when you take yourself to a car show, you take yourself to a concert, those things are entertaining. Those things are awesome, right? There's nothing wrong with it. I think it's a beautiful thing, especially as an artist. But you got to go a step further. So for example, I always talk about Ariola, and he is from down south in Southern California. This brother, when he puts out his music, that's art, that's cultural. But unlike other people, that brother is revolutionary, because when you read his lyrics, you hear what he's talking about. He's talking about change, right? He's got some great music. He's got some great beats, and he's collaborations with a lot of different artists, right? But he goes far and above and beyond just entertainment. He lays down a message that people want to hear. Or, for example, if you look at artists whose art have been featured, on walls, throughout, Aslan, like in Chicano Park, for example, there was a famous artist named Jose, um, and was it his Malequias Montoya and Jose Montoya? Those two artists, Malequia Montoya is still alive, and this brother is an artist. And some people have seen the Mecha picture that I have in here. He actually painted that for me, for an art piece, or for a musical production I was working on, and it's a beautiful piece. But him and his brother Jose, who was also one of the artists who took part in Chicano Park, and Jose Montoya used to be from, he's originally from here, from Fowler, California, and they moved to Sacramento area, and he was a professor there for a while. That's where he got involved with the Chicano Royal Air Force. It's a group of artists, and he helped create Chicano Park and the paintings down there. When you look at the art he did, that was incredible. Something like that, right? So we've got artists out there who are very, very entertaining. But the question is, how far do you take it, right? Is it just for the funds, for the money? Is it just for the for the limelight and for the clout? Because if that's all it's for, then that's nice. And but as many of us know, a lot of that, after a while, it gets old, right? What lives on is that message of revolutionary change. That's why when you hear some of the mujeres that have been involved in the movement, a lot of them never get the credit, right? They never get the credit as organizers. They never get the credit as artists. They never. Ansundula, Baca. You got all these women who are artists. Edim Medina from Fresno. She's a poet laureate, right? Fresno's poet laureate. This mujer is so incredible with her artwork, her poetic pieces, and she takes it above and beyond, and I love that about her. So yeah, is I bring this only because I want people to think about this summer. It's beautiful, the weather is nice. I'm about to hit the car show right now as I'm speaking to you to volunteer over there. But the truth is, we got to go beyond just entertainment and just feeling good, right? Of course, we can use all those things, and we need to use all those things. Don't get me wrong. But while we're there, what are we going to add to the spectacle, the sideshows, the cars that are sitting there, and the people who are gonna, the music that we're playing, right? Well, hopefully it'll be laced, and it'll be there'll be messages, and they'll be laced throughout the day, and messages of empowerment. I know we are going to talk about that. For example, the people putting on this car show here in Fresno today are teenagers and youth college students. That's incredible. That's awesome. The fact that they're taking that step to do that, and the fact that they're actually going to push a message also of unity, and also anti-ice, pro raza, pro mujer, pro solidarity with the third world, that a lot of them are just learning about through social media. That's incredible, and that's what it's all about. Because the Chicano Youth Center in Fresno, California, where this usually held, this is a big deal for a lot of us. We fought for the center, and today we're going to put on a car show. It's going to be awesome. But I can, safely say that this is not just a cultural event. They actually are going to, have a message for people to continue and inspire to do something revolutionary. So with that said, I just want to, put that out there. Our lowriders and our, all this stuff, revolutionary, and it could be definitely art, music. It all depends on the music's message and what the message is at the end of the day. So I'm out of here. Aho, all power to the people. Que viva la raza. I'm out.